I want to fight against Islam, which I would love to do it. No problem. Like, this is competition, you know. I'm not gonna lose my life inside that octagon. So I beat him and get the third title. That will be the best scenario.
Islam now needs to happen. But if Islam beats JDM, Islam versus Ilia at 170 is fucking insane. Ilia is probably considered one of the greatest of all.
Islam can fight him, but I think Islam will be one of the greatest challenges he would have. Because they're both just...
I think he deserves.
I think if he move up and he beats somebody like Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira,
Islam becomes the welterweight world champion. For sure, I'm gonna push for that shot also, and I will move to the welterweight division.
Ilia Topuria, fresh off a dominant display against Charles Oliveira, now sets his sights on Islam Makhachev, confident and hungry. The reigning lightweight title holder is aiming to dethrone Makhachev and add a third championship to his growing legacy. If Islam Makhachev secures the welterweight crown, Ilia Topuria is already planning a move into that division. He's made it clear he'll chase that matchup and demand a crack at the title, proving he's fully committed to conquering several divisions. The decision reflects his ambition and fearless mindset in the fight game.
Islam becomes the welterweight world champion. For sure, I'm gonna push for that shot also, and I will move to the welterweight division.
Ilia Topuria is convinced he has what it takes to defeat Islam Makhachev at 170 pounds and make history as a triple division king. He mentioned working alongside bigger athletes in training camps, where he performed with power and assurance. According to him, his skills and pressure are too much for anyone in that weight class, and that's exactly why he sees a third championship within reach.
Press conference you did today where you said, I'm not done with Islam Makhachev. If he wins the welterweight title and he's going to stay up there, I want to go after him. Bro, you've accomplished everything you said you would do. Why do you believe that you can be a 3-weight world champion? That's, 25 pounds in total to cross over. Like,
why not? I don't know. I used to train with people who fight in the welterweight division, and I felt very good. We have very competitive rounds, and I feel that I can dominate and knock out anyone in this.
Islam Makhachev hasn't entirely ruled out a comeback to the 155-pound category. While uncertain for now, he mentioned that if an appealing scenario arises or something big is on the line, he might consider stepping back down and making that choice when the time comes.
Weight cut to lightweight that stands out as the most challenging one?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we will see.
Yeah.
If something interesting coming to me, we will see.
Ilia responded to Makhachev's comment about a potential lightweight return by expressing a preference for meeting him at 170 pounds. He stated that challenging Islam in the welterweight division makes more sense for his goals, as it gives him the chance to secure a third championship while defeating a top contender.
Makhachev did an interview and said he's not ruling out coming back down to 155. Would you rather fight him at 170 to get that third title, or would you be willing to fight him at 55 because that's the division that people say he might be the best at?
It would be much better for me to fight him in 170, and I will beat him and get the third title.
Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev spoke about his ambition to claim gold in 2 separate divisions. He mentioned that earning dual titles is a major milestone for most competitors. While securing one championship is impressive, only a select few ever reach the top in multiple weight categories. That's the reason so many pursue it, and Islam hopes to etch his name in the record books by achieving that rare feat.
Just clarify, did they make you give up the lightweight title?
The General and everybody? Yeah, of course, this is the dream, man. This is the dream for the all champions. We know many champions, but not is there from them double. That's why everybody want to be double champ. Everybody want to be UFC champ, but we don't have many people who have 2 belts. That's why I want to be one of them,
Ilia Topuria acknowledged that Islam Makhachev isn't ducking him when questioned about whether the move to welterweight was an attempt to avoid a showdown. He believes Islam has his own ambitions and isn't running from anyone. Ilia also mentioned that a clash between them could still happen down the line. If he captures the lightweight crown and Makhachev continues chasing welterweight glory, one of them could switch divisions to make the blockbuster bout fans are waiting for.
It was meant to be Islam, that was the big talk, and he moved up to welterweight. Do you believe he moved up to welterweight to avoid you, or because he has his own goals?
Because he has his own goals. This is what I think.
Do you still think that's a fight that should happen? You guys are both forging legacies in different weight divisions. Do you think that's a massive fight that should happen?
We'll see how he does in the welterweight division. If he wins the title, I win the title in the lightweight division. Maybe I move up or he comes down to the lightweight division and we have the fight that everyone wants.
Topuria shared the reason behind his desire to face Islam Makhachev, even though he respects Islam's elite skill set and recognizes him as a fierce competitor. Ilia made it clear that he thrives on real challenges. He's not interested in walking through weaker opposition. He wants matchups where people genuinely question the outcome. For him, the thrill lies in testing himself against the very best. And that's exactly why a showdown with Makhachev is so appealing.
Yeah, he's a beast. Yeah. But I like the competition. And I don't like to be a bully and fight with people that I know 100% that I'm going to whoop his ass. You know, I like to fight with people that the fans think that it's going to be very competitive. That kind of expectations I like to create. So with Islam, I'm going to have that. Doing again the rematch with people that I are really...
Now that Ilia holds a lightweight crown, a clash with Islam Makhachev seems closer than ever. Khabib previously stated that such a fight would only happen if Ilia proved himself against elite competition at 155 pounds. He was firm that Islam wouldn't hand out title shots to smaller division champions without merit. But with Ilia now sitting at the top of the lightweight throne and Charles Oliveira out of the way, it looks like the long-anticipated showdown is finally on the horizon.
He deserves.
I think if he move up and he beat somebody like Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira, he's next. Why not? Because there is nobody.
So you don't think right now Ilia deserves a shot at 155 pounds?
Without fighting in 155? Without? No, I don't agree. Because Islam already give chance and people talk bad about like, oh, he fight 2 times with Volkanovski, but the UFC pushed this fight and this fight was good in first fight. But why Islam have to give 3 times chance for 145 champion? Why? It's not fair for 155.
Khabib had also pushed for a matchup between Ilia and Charles, even going as far as to predict that Topuria would come out on top against all of...
If he move up and he beat somebody like Charles Oliveira, of course. You know what I think?
Yeah.
I think he can beat him.
I like Charles, but I think so too.
No, I think Ilia can beat him.
Prior to his victory at UFC 317, Ilia Topuria expressed disappointment over Islam Makhachev's choice to jump to welterweight, labeling him as inconsistent. He reminded fans that Makhachev had previously spoken about giving opportunities to rising, smaller fighters. But now that Ilia is seeking that same shot, Islam appears to be avoiding it by chasing a higher weight class. Topuria called the move completely unjust and described it as the most blatant case of double standards he's ever witnessed.
It's like they don't want to do that too much anymore, right? Like Ilia had to give up his belt, you gave up your belt.
Yeah. Because, you know, I want to hold my belt from the lightweight, but it's not possible because I fight in January and we wait. If I fight with Mandalena, when it's gonna be October, November, and fight again February, Ramadan is beginning, holding more than 1 year's lightweight belt, it's not what I want to do, you know.
Yeah, and not fair to the division.
Yeah. And it's not respect for all these guys, you know.
Ilia Topuria didn't hold back when speaking about Islam Makhachev, claiming his popularity is overrated. He even said a bout with Paddy Pimblett would generate more buzz than a clash with Islam. According to Ilia, even in Makhachev's home region, there isn't much genuine excitement about watching him fight live. He went further, criticizing Islam's lack of charisma and suggesting he doesn't have the personality to become a global icon. Meanwhile, Shauna Ali firmly believes that a Topuria versus Makhachev showdown is the biggest matchup available right now. He stated that no other fighter poses a real threat to Ilia and that Islam must be the next opponent. If Makhachev gets past Jack Della Maddalena, a welterweight battle between him and Topuria would be massive. Shauna also praised Ilia for knocking out legends like Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira, calling his run extraordinary. In his view, Ilia has already cemented himself as a future all-time great and a legitimate superstar.
But Ilia needs to fight Islam. If Islam loses, that's not the same. Ilia versus Islam now needs to happen. But if Islam beats JDM, Islam versus Ilia at 170 is insane. Ilia is probably considered one of the greatest of all time. Knocking out Volk, knocking out Holloway, then knocking out Charles is insane. Ilia is a superstar.
Michael Bisping praised Ilia Topuria as a dominant presence in the sport. calling him exceptional. He believes Topuria is on track to become the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, or that he'll eventually face off with IslamMakhachev to settle that debate. According to Bisping, that clash feels inevitable. He also brought up Joe Rogan's excitement, mentioning that Rogan said he'd fly all the way to Spain to call the fight if it happens at Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Laughing, Bisping added that he'd jump at the chance to do the same, saying it's the kind of showdown worth crossing the globe to witness live.
Topuria, the man's a force of nature. He's absolutely unbelievable. He'll probably be the pound for pound number one, or maybe, I mean, him or Islam, it's got to be something like that. And that fight's going to happen down the line. Joe Rogan was talking about it. He said if they do that in Spain at the Bernabeu Stadium, Joe Rogan will be going out to Spain to commentate. I was like, you bastard, I might get that one, but no, it will be Joe Rogan, and that would be a fight to try.